come with an expiry date for women? Does their ambition depend on their marital status and motherhood? Real heroes don't just give up on their ambition. They know how to balance it all and make it count in the end. So today we have with us Captain Divya Sharma, who is a single mother for the last 24 years, but a woman with strong ambition and strong will, not ready to give up yet, following her passion and dreams with as much as fire as she can.
My father had a really bad accident and he was paralyzed, and I took about 2 years, to actually come to terms with that. But within that time, there was this person who proposed, and I said yes because I was really under a depression, and I was really affected by my father's state. I'm very close to my father, and he's no more now, God bless his soul. But he, he was just lying down over there, not able to move, and I didn't know what to do because he couldn't move his finger. He could only talk. Maybe at that time I was really weak. That was a vulnerable moment. I needed a shoulder to cry on, and I was also thinking that when there's nothing really left in life to do, you should get married. So I just took it, like a joke. It wasn't a joke. It changed my entire life, and within the first 4 months, I decided I couldn't live with this man at all, and I left, and I came back pregnant. It just changed everything because I didn't care, what that man did or wanted to do. I just left, and of course, it took me about 6 to 7 years to gather courage to, going for a divorce, and I came back free, without any alimony, without any maintenance. I asked for nothing. I said, I only want custody of my son. That's it.
So after hearing this part of your story, I would want to know that what made you come back in the corporate world? What made you come back with ambition and dreams and more passion? How did your whole life change after the divorce and the baby?
I was selected as the second flight dispatcher in Air India. I was in Bombay when my father had an accident, and so I was already working. I couldn't come in that list of the second flight dispatcher in the history of Air India because I had to leave and I had to come back because of my dad. Because I came back pregnant, I had to stop working. So what I did was I went back to flying and I did my assistant flight instructor's rating. It's not legal, but people are good, and if you're good to them, they're good to you. We did my entire flying while I was 7 months pregnant. I finished my assistant flight instructor's rating, and when my son was born in the hospital, my friend got me my logbook and said, "Here, this is your gift." I said, "No, the gift is inside." But there are things that I had to do. I had to get back to work. I had to pay my rent. There was very little money that I got, but I settled for it. But I settled for good companies because I wanted to work only for good organizations. So I worked for Star TV. I worked for National Geographic Channel. I worked for UB Group, ITC, all good companies. And the initial years were difficult because I had to leave my son behind in a creche. So from Yusufzai, where I used to stay, I used to go all the way to Rafi Marg in a chartered bus or in a regular bus with one of my bags, one of his bags, and him in my lap. And I would go all the way back to Rafi Marg, drop him there, come back, because my office was in South Enclave, right next to my house. But because I had to go drop him to a secure place, I wanted him to be secure. So I did that for a long time, for about a year. But yeah, the journey has been full of struggle. There were a lot of challenges. I had to rush back home because there were times my domestic maids just left my son locked up, went to meet a boyfriend, and when I came back home, my son was crying and he had nobody around. But there were times when it was really difficult. I wanted to apply back for flying, and I just couldn't because I didn't know where I'm going to leave my son.
So after having faced so much in your life and still going strong, I want to know what kept you going. I mean, right now when you talk about it, बहुत साल पहले की बातों पे, you think it happened in a moment. But I want to know जब वो moments actually हो रहे थे, when you were actually depressed and there was a point, where you would have felt कि give up कर दो, because it happens in every human's life. I want to know what kept you going then. That thought जो आपको अभी भी याद हो, उस moment की कोई एक thought which which helped you come here.
See, my father always used to tell me that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Right? I always remember that. I've seen my father to be a really, really strong person, a very, very strong man. He struggled with his physical condition all his life. He died at the age of 75. And he had this accident when I was in class 10th. And he spent more than 25 years, maybe more than that, I think 35 years in that condition where he was just wobbling and he couldn't lead a normal life. But he was such an energetic person. He was so positive. We learn most of it at home. Though I have spent moments of loneliness and times when I was really heartbroken because there were people who objectify you. They think that single, available. But of course, I was a product of a separated family, and I had gone through that. That was difficult for me, and I went through a lot of turmoil because everybody wants both the fathers and mother together, both the parents together, and I had to live with my father. But my father was such a cutie. He would make breakfast for me in the morning and all that. So I looked at life very differently. That you don't lose anything if something goes away. So I looked at it at their relationship also very objectively, thinking that maybe this was not the right thing for both of them to be happy. So maybe they were really, really unhappy for 19 years that they were together. I had an elder sister also who also died. She was murdered. So we were all separated. At a time when people are growing up, looking at finer things in life. But because of my father, I think I got that kind of strength. When I was really sad, I looked at the sky, I looked at the birds, and I looked at my father, who was living with that kind of a handicap. So I thought, there are so many people in the world, there is so much pain in the world. What do I have to cry on? That gave me strength. The world's pain gave me a lot of strength.
I want to know that being a woman who is strong, independent, and a captain when it comes to flying. So I want to know, how does it make you feel to be a captain? And like ये चीजें ना लोग undermine करते हैं कि लड़कियों से गाड़ियाँ तो drive होती नहीं हैं. You are flying an airplane. It's huge. So how does it feel to be that strong woman somewhere?
Decision maker
somewhere. How does it feel?
It feels great. I've now grown my own wings. I say that because I'm not flying anymore. But it feels really great. I would like to actually tell everybody, that you should fly at least once in your life.
Your story has been inspiring and motivating, and knowing you as a person has been such a wonderful experience for me. I would want you to give a small message to girls out there who feel that they are the weaker sex somewhere, despite of all the equality and stuff. Somewhere where they feel that there are challenges of life, and to revolt back or to take a stand is difficult. To still feel inferior or doubt their capabilities.
I think it's very important for women, for girls to believe in themselves. When we don't believe in ourselves, we lose control of the situation. We have a lot of strings in our system, and we give the control of those strings to either a man or to somebody else, and those people pull a string and it affects us. They pull another string, it affects us. Why should you give control of your strings to anybody else? Keep them in your own control. I'd like to say that you feel strong when you feel strong. So allow yourself that space. Allow yourself to believe in yourself.
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. One thing that I've learned from life is, there are again 3 C's of life. You have to take charge of your life and make the choice. Otherwise, your life will never change.
Thank you so much for being a part of this show and giving us the dose of motivation which we actually needed. People like you who've had difficult decisions, who've had difficult times and stood out, become independent and strong. When we come across people like you, we feel that there's scope for us to challenge ourselves, to do something, like you said, to make the choice and go towards that change. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us and giving us a chance to become a part of your journey. Also, we feel that you are a hero because heroes don't come on television only. They are people who are making a difference, who are making tough calls, be it with their lives or any others. They are actually making a difference and not giving up. So we think you are a hero and we are really happy to have had this time to talk to you and get to know you.
Thank you so much, Shubhangi. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. So that's all for today. We'll get back to you with more amazing stories and more unseen heroes. Till then, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you find the content appealing. Also, do share her story with as many people as you can so that we can build a world which is more positive, uplifting and acknowledges people who are making the tough calls. Thank you.